Sports bettors, are you ready? Are you ready for a faster way to win? When you bet with PointsBet, you get faster bets, faster withdrawals, and faster rewards. Experience this premium sportsbook for yourself and sign up with code BETSWEATS, BETSWEATS, to get $100 in free bets when you deposit $20. Must be present in New Jersey, Indiana, Iowa, or Illinois. Must be 21 or older. Additional T's and C's apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER if in New Jersey and Illinois, 1-800-9-WITH-IT if in Indiana, 1-800-BETS-OFF if in Iowa.
Clean, safe, local. Your home for business is the Village of Bedford Park. Over 450 businesses strong and growing with a safe, reliable Lake Michigan water supply. Visit VOBPBiz.com and bring your business home to the Village of Bedford Park.
Right now, though, Teague, it's been a while. We're big fans of this guy. I think he always comes across obviously prepared. I think he's terrific on the air. I know he's coming with the information. That is Steve Weiss from the NFL Network. Steve, Tiki, and Tierney, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, gentlemen. Good afternoon.
All good, man. I mean, listen, the Carson Wentz news is about as bad as it gets. Number one, Jacoby Brissett's – well, let me take that back. I mean, it could be worse, obviously, in terms of the injury for sure. But in terms of setting a tone to camp, Jacoby Brissett's not there. You got a couple of young, unproven guys behind him. And not only is, Carson Wentz on a different team, though he does have familiarity with the head coach, obviously – Steve, he's trying to show the rest of the world that whatever mental demons or whatever he lost, he regained, and now he's down. How problematic is this?
It's problematic because not only the mental, issue that he's trying to overcome, it's the durability issues. I mean, Carson Wentz has been injury prone, and now I've seen the reports where he might have to where he's going to go see Robert Anderson, the foot specialist. I mean. Tiki, you know this. When you see the situations, that's where the team knows what's going on.
Yep.
But let's send him to a foot specialist to see if we got to go in there and do surgery right now. Let's find this out immediately. So it's going to be real interesting to see what the diagnosis is because, a lot of people are connecting the dots. If they've got to go out and get a veteran quarterback, Nick Foles is someone they could get right away. Quarterback knows the system.
Big Nick.
But now you're getting back to the situation. If Wentz was, if he fell apart because Jalen Hurts was there, how do you think he's going to feel when the guy who Wally pipped him and won the Super Bowl
That's a great
became
point.
the hero?
That's a great
That might ruin him.
Wow. Do you do that?
No, I mean, maybe. What can you tell us about Jacob Eason, if anything? I mean, we remember Jacob Eason at Georgia got banged up, and then Jake Fromm took his job, and then Justin Fields came. He's like, I'm out of here. He goes to Washington, and actually, he was really good out at Washington, but we kind of lost track of who is Jacob Eason in the NFL.
This is a great question because I interviewed him years ago when he was the Gatorade High School Player of the Year.
Oh, nice.
He was the top quarterback coming out. Went to Georgia. He's from Washington State. Like you said, it didn't work out there. He goes back to Washington. He has a good career, but he's not the guy everybody's clamoring for. That that we thought he was going to come out of high school. So look, maybe if he's been coached up a little bit, they feel comfortable with him. But this was not the situation that they were hoping to do. They're not going to get rid of Jacoby Brissett and go trade Carson Wentz if he's that guy. So, the good thing, if there is a good thing to come out of this, is that it's happening early. So now they can figure out, do they want to get Jacob Eason going? Are they comfortable with him? I can't see them being fully comfortable because they've got to get some type of veteran depth just in case. Right now, there's not too many guys out there, and we know it will not be, the quarterback who's down in Houston. It's not Deshaun Watson, even though he's available for trade because they definitely aren't trading him within a division. So it's this is, man, I mean, the more I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh, boy, this is not what the Colts wanted because everyone said they're a quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl and that Wentz only had to be okay. So hopefully he's, this isn't a major injury and they can kind of get back to those aspirations.
Man, oh, man. Talking to Steve Weiss, NFL Network reporter. By the way, NFL Network provides 13 hours live back together Saturday, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern. And Steve is with us here on Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio.
I don't love those foot injuries, Steve. I really, really don't. Let me flip to a different team on East Coast here in my team, former team, the Giants. We saw the Kelvin Benjamin news, and I know you saw this, and Kelvin Benjamin's been out of the league for 3 years, trying to reinvent himself as a tight end, and gets cut right at the beginning of training camp, gets in a screaming match. I'm sure it was a lot of explicatives in that with him and with Joe Judge and Gettleman. And he tried to paint this picture of Joe Judge as this, I don't know, like this curmudgeon, trying to be like Bill Belichick, but he doesn't really succeed. He's never going to win a championship. And Judge answered it pretty well. You don't think this lingers for Joe Judge, especially in New York, where if things go wrong, people start picking up every little piece of negativity they can find. You don't think this lasts for Joe Judge, do you?
No, this is a very New York story, because anytime Kelvin Benjamin is your source of controversy, that's what you call screaming for clicks. I mean, look, it's Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. You're not hearing this from anybody else. Saquon and all these guys are talking about how impressed they are with Joe Judge.
Yep.
So that's when you're like, do I really? No. Okay, move on.
Yeah.
Let's go see. Let's go see what's happening with Daniel Jones. That's really the bigger question, what's going on with the Giants.
Yeah, I agree with you. But in year 2, the expectations, I think, have significantly elevated for this Giants team. Maybe it's just because of the roster. Dave Gettleman's actually done a pretty good job. Saquon getting healthy, all the talent they put around Daniel Jones. What should be our expectation of this Giants team? Because we believe they can compete. Maybe not win the division, but compete. But where should we elevate them to in our minds?
I think they should compete for the division. I mean, who's the juggernaut?
Yeah, there isn't one. There isn't one.
Seriously, why shouldn't they be competing for the division title? I mean, we look at Dallas, and she has all this offensive talent, but they've still got a ways to go on defense. Washington's got this great defense. They've got some pieces in place now. Washington might be the most talented team. They're coming off winning the division champion, but it wasn't like they won it running away. Look, the big question is Daniel Jones, and will he stop turning the ball over? The Giants are a team that, other than that part, last year showed they didn't beat themselves. They overcame a lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were a tough out. I like them. If Daniel Jones again doesn't fumble the ball or throw it away as much as he did with interception-wise, and Saquon's healthy, there is no reason why they are not competing for the NFC East title.
Yeah, I agree, Steve. I like him. Teague is bullish on him. Mm-hmm. Daniel Jones, I mean, I know he tripped over the turf a year ago and everybody made him a meme, but his top speed at one point was 21 miles per hour. He put on about 13 or 14 pounds of functional weight. He's got a good arm. He's smart coming from Duke. I think the Giants are going to be ready to make some noise. But I wanted to throw this by you because I had on Sean King yesterday. Tiki was off, former quarterback, and won a Super Bowl with the Bucs for those who don't play at Tulane, for those who might not know who I'm talking about. And I asked him about Jameis Winston. All right, talked about all the quarterbacks, but we got to Jameis, and he said that he thinks that Jameis Winston's going to be in the mix for MVP. Now, there's hot takes, and then there's just, flaming hot takes. To me, and I like Jameis, that seems incredibly ambitious. How about to you?
Did he get some good medical news on Michael Thomas?
Yeah, that's what I said to him.
Yeah, look, I think Jameis is going to win the job. You never know in that offense, but they've got a ways to go. They've got Alvin Kamara right now, and Traquan Smith. Jared Cook left in the offseason. He's with the Chargers, the tight end. We know they've got some good running backs. The offensive line's pretty good. But who else?
You almost need Taysom Hill to be that H-back guy instead of the starting quarterback. Yeah. You know what I mean? You almost need him not to win the starting quarterback job so he can contribute because they don't have a ton of skill position players.
They don't have a ton. Now, that defense is good. We don't talk enough about the Saints defense year in and year out.
Yeah.
That's a good defense. But they're not the type of defense they were on the Super Bowl run where they're getting 40 takeaways and taking half of them back to the house. So MVP of his team, maybe. You got Cam Jordan to beat out, but I do think there's a possibility that maybe, hey, he's going to win one of those Ryan Tannehill comeback player of the year type.
Okay,
if we want to go there.
Okay, all right. So that's Steve Weiss from the NFL Network. Listen, the Dolphins. The reports early on too was flinging a pretty nice deep ball. You don't want to overreact to this too much. You've been around the game forever. Tiki played. A couple of days into camp, nobody's popping each other yet. Mm-hmm. It's relatively easy. Are you more and we all love him as a young man. He comes from a great family. We're all rooting for Tua. Came back from injury, resilient, no doubt. But in terms of his, trajectory, 2-3 years, stardom, are you more buying or selling Tua? I'm more of a seller. Tiki's more of a buyer. Where do you sit on Tua?
I'm a buyer. I'm a buyer. Yeah, look, they got him some pieces. Like, even when he was not fully understanding the offense last year, talk about lack of weapons. What? I mean, he had Mike Gesicki. I mean, Devontae Parker was hurt, didn't have any other wide receivers. They went out and they got him Will Fuller. They got in the draft, get him another receiving threat. The offensive line is going to be a year more mature. It's a young offensive line. I think being under this offense, and now they've got the offensive coordinator with George Gotze and Eric Studesville, right?
Studesville, that was my running back coach when I was with the Giants. Good peeps.
Right, heck of a dude, right? So he's going to handle the run game. I assume Gotze's going to be a play caller. He spent a lot of time working with Gotze last year, so that relationship is good. And they're going to do some things for his strengths. I am very bullish on Tua because they've got some guys who can bail him out in case he makes a mistake on offense. They're gonna have to open it up a little bit because he's gonna have to be better. Their defense last year was phenomenal in terms of takeaways and generating points. I think they scored 4 or 5 defensive touchdowns last year. That's not going to happen year in and year out.
Yeah, no.
He's got to be better, and I think he is going to be better.
20 seconds on this, Steve. Do you think Deshaun Watson takes snaps for the Houston Texans? And if not for the Texans, with anybody, where's he getting traded if it does? But do you think he plays at all this year?
Got to be tight, Steve.
I don't think he plays for the Texans. I think a trade will happen. I don't know where it could happen. We hear Philly, we hear Miami, maybe Denver. I just don't know, but I just can't see him being around the team. I was there earlier this week. It is a weird flavor.
Yeah, but he was on the field. He was on the field, right? And taking snaps and stuff. It was odd.
Yeah, they've really opened up themselves to just by doing that. Really opened themselves up to a lot of head scratching.
Yeah.
Steve, really good stuff as always. Certainly admire your work from a distance. You do a bang up job. Reliable. Great demeanor on camera as well. Keep it up, buddy. Nice having you back on the show.
Appreciate you guys.
Clean, safe, local. Your home for business is the Village of Bedford Park. Over 450 businesses strong and growing with a safe, reliable Lake Michigan water supply. Visit VOBPBiz.com and bring your business home to the Village of Bedford Park.
Odyssey now has hundreds of new exclusive music stations for you to discover your new summer soundtrack.
Get moving with worthy workouts for a cardio sesh fueled by today's top artists.
Hanging with your crew? Throw it back with Picnic Party for old school jams for your cookout.
Or sail away with Odyssey's new yacht rock station, Jugger Yacht.
There are hundreds of new exclusive stations to check out today.
For summer barbecues,
road trips,
or relaxing poolside.
For every mood, every interest, every passion. By Odyssey. Brought to you in part by Macy's and Geico.